fellow playing croquet, and one became world champion. But
brothers and sisters, good to see us all here. During this afternoon, we're going to hear a bit about our history of the Colac branch of the Knights, and also after 3 o'clock, a couple of members, along with our state couple, are going to go up and see Pat Roach presenting with his 60-year certificate. Now, I'll call on our chairman, Pat O'Shea, to say a few words.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. A special welcome to our State Secretary, Andrew Ricco, and our Mayor, Chris Potter, and Fr Michael, and the members of the Camperdown branch, especially our District Chairman, Derek Gleeson. We've had apologies from all from our State Chairman, Paul Mitchell, and all the trained members, Brian Gleeson, Brian O'Sullivan, Edward Kennedy, Mick Maloney and Peter O'Brien. Also locally from Pat Roach, Les Lennon and Ron Smith. Ron was talking about this day for the last 3 years, I think, and unfortunately he can't be here. But all the photos in the gathering space there today, they were all taken by Ron, and he put a lot of preparation into this occasion. And all of them will call on Fr Michael to say grace for us.
Now, I love the thing about what we say about winter. Winter is a season where it seems that nothing's happening. That's not true, is it? There's a lot of things happening in winter, often we can't see. Is that true? And look at the bulbs. Look at the bulbs in the ground. There's a lot happening there. And look at the trees. In winter, there's a lot happening, isn't there? This is the season. So I'm saying, there's a film came out a few years ago. It was called Dead Man Walking. Remember that film? Yes. Dead Man Walking. And it's sort of saying this man is supposed to get here, he's walking with Jesus, see? Now look, you see this coat? You've actually seen it before. Many of you have seen it before. Right? Not always worn by me. It actually belongs to Alan Matthews. So Monica gave me this coat, and you know, she wanted just to throw away. I said, would you like it? Yes. So Alan Matthews coat. So, Lord, we thank you for gifts, friendship and love, people who've been part of our lives. Remember them today especially. Thanksgiving for so many things in life that enrich us and make our life and our community wholesome. So thankful, so bless our meal, mindful in the midst of winter, those people don't enjoy the warm coats and the beautiful warm meals that we're about to enjoy. We think of them today. The blessings of the Father, Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Of the Knights branch here, all yours, Mike.
From Father Michael, there, Brother Chris, and our State Secretary, Andrew, brothers, ladies, I've asked you to say a few words, a little bit of the history about the Knights of Southern Cross and Colac. Tony is building the history. But up in back in the late, I'll talk about this one, the late 50s, there was a fella in the Knights named of Basil Kavanagh. And apparently he was good because every year we used to change over, every year, the worthy knight. He had it for 9 years running. And we used to meet, they used to meet at St Mary's School, 7th and 8th grade, and he built up that much that he had that many members that the head council had to start off a new branch in Colac. And the new branch was called Number 142. Now there's 4 of us still who originally come with the 142, was myself, Brother John Miller, Pat Roach, Pat Pig. So we went for 10 years as as another branch. We amalgamated. We used to come to the meetings, one would go into that room, one would go into the other. That's how we got on. But one of our main, we used to have the rural mass out of St Brendan's. We used to bring up the offertory procession, the bags, the spuds and the onions and all that type of stuff and give us the bins in the pool. But sadly to say, we only went for about 10 years with number 142 because the numbers all dwindled away. We got down to, you might as well say, lower F. The head office in Melbourne, we said we had to amalgamate. So that's where we came back to number 7. So that's a little bit of history of another branch that was here in Colac. We were 142, but we are number 7 now, and Tony's going to give you the history of the whole branch. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I'll get myself down in the middle, it's a bit easier.
No, where you are,
Stay where you are.
I hope I haven't got too many sheets of paper here, but we'll, if anyone starts to go to sleep, I'll stop. Right back at the very start, Brother Mick gave us a really good kick-off on how we got to where we are today. So there was a massive amount of records that were never kept because of the period of time that the Knights had become a very secret society. So up till about 1968, they were pretty much non-existent, right? There is also another period of time that records have disappeared, and that was a period of time from the start of COVID till about now. There's not a real lot of records because there's not a heck of a lot of club activity. So, I'll just go over it roughly. The Colac branch commenced on the 22nd of June 1923. So records of branch number 142 and branch number 7 up to 1968 were very much non-existent. In 1970, night membership was $13. This was thought much too dear. State Councillor Brother Ed Martin spoke on the amalgamation of branches, number 7 and number 142. Note that records from that time are from branch number 42, Clyde. We've seen the in 71, we've seen the amalgamation of the 2 district branches to branch number 7 in Colac. Also, it was the 50th anniversary of the opening of St Joseph's School here in Yallock. Members travelled to Ballarat for the enthronement of Bishop Ronald Mulcahy at the Catholic Cathedral, Ballarat. In 1972, calves were reared for the Obey Order. 300 bales of hay were donated to Gippsland farmers for drought relief. Toys from the working bee were sold, and $250 donated to St Vincent de Paul. These toys were sold through St Vinny's. In 1973, branch took part in Operation Pear Drop for the separate Shepparton branch. This was, there'll be a little bit more later on the Operation Pear Drop, it'll be explained a bit better. 1974, members wrote letters to TV stations on morale standards of programs. Also the branch toy making committee was formed. Now, I understand that it was formed at Brother Frank Patch's place, and the toy making facilities were there. So The toys have been going now since '74, basically. Father O'Dwyer and John Keenan visited the branch looking for a gistment for some heifers. A survey was taken to address the need for aged care homes in Victoria. A raffle raised $500 for toy making equipment. 1976, machinery has now been installed in the toy workshop and will operate every Tuesday night. The branch again sold pears and oranges for the Shepparton branch, and this was for them to make a bit of money for their own charities. The toy workshop again made $800 in toy sales, with monies going to charity. Hay was donated. A working bees formed to assist in clean-up and fence erecting after devastating fires hit Cressy. Several members of the Knights were affected during this time. 1979, a working bee for cleaning the St Brendan's Church. Right to Life rally was supported by KSC. Columban fathers thanked the branch for their support in the Chilean appeal. 1980, Bishop Mulcairns opens new St Mary's Church. 1981, Father Peter Sherman's ordination reception was held in the old Woolworths building. 1983, special KSC meeting held in Toonboon. 2 state councillors, 1 quota member, 28 branch members were affected by fire. Colac branch had 3 groups working after fires. Branch celebrates Diamond Jubilee. Father John Martin celebrates 25th anniversary. Wood chop held at Brother Mick McGivney's property at Birregurra for the Birregurra Convent. 1984, brothers were gatekeepers at St Patrick's Day races. Thank you. Colac wins Branch of the Year award. 1986, fire was cut at Bennett's Mill for Birregurra Good Samaritan Sisters and Sisters of Carmel at Birregurra. Submission was put into the government on dying with dignity. A statue for Our Lady was presented to Trinity College, and a stand was built in the college grounds to support the statue. Rosary beads were presented to all first communicants in St Mary's and St Brendan's churches. 1987, $100 was donated toward a tractor for Sister Emmanuel in East Timor. An illuminated cross was also donated for Trinity College and erected on the roof. A family barbecue was held on the Lake Foreshore. 1989, Brother Mick McGivney went to work on a Rotary project in Popondita. Is that right, Mick?
Yeah.
Popondita? In New Guinea, building a school. Members helped at a sale of the old convent in Colac. 1990, branch buys 3 videos titled "It's Okay to Say No." Members do gatekeeping at St Pat's Day races. 1991, working bees held at Bethany Refuge near Jellybrand to clean up after storm damage. Branch offers to fit handrails for elderly. Brother Ron Smith had a display and spoke on his collection of gemstones.
We might have a break.
Yep.
Continue after.
Can I have that? No worries. I'm at 1982.
Brothers and sisters,
We'll give this another go, brothers. It was a good break. We're down to 1992, so we're getting along a bit. We had the window cleaning held at St Mary's Church. It was the window cleaning and the wood chops were a very ongoing thing. They were every year. They were We're doing St Mary's, St Joey's out of Kirin, St Brendan's. So every year it was a rotational thing. Wood chop was could have been twice, sometimes 3 times a year, between cutting, splitting, stacking. They were actually good days because we'd go out there with the nuns at St Brendan's and they'd put on a ripping afternoon tea, and it was great. So you get the, and I like me scones, right? And they used to make lots of scones. So so the nuns out there were very, very good with us. But it's a fair pound of flesh because you had to work pretty hard before you got the scones. If you weren't finished, you didn't get fed, right? Simple as that. So we had Father Kevin Arundel and Father Pat O'Brien celebrated their Jubilee at that stage in '92. Brother Ron Smith helped on Camp Friendship. It was a camp at Anglesey for youth from Ukraine and Belarus. They were victims of the Chernobyl reactor. Now, members spoke, in '93, members spoke on the Clergy Assistance Fund at 10 masses, branch-run food stalls at St Mary's Garden Expo. Progressive dinner was held at the homes of Brother Mick McGivney and Brother Ron Smith. 1994, working bees were held at Cressy Presbytery cutting grass. Brother Vin Malone and Brother Tony Ricco and myself placed spouting on a house at Kawarren for a needy family. We had people that used to approach from the Catholic parish used to approach the knights and say, you know, we can't afford to do this and this on our house, can you please do something for us? And we'd say, righto, we've got a plumber and an engineer and we've got a couple of guys that chippies, and we'd go out and we'd do the job for them, and it was great. And often they donate a little bit to us, but we never asked for money. It was not that sort of thing. Executive collars were changed for medals. All the collars were returned to head office. Now, members attend, in '96, members attended a state jubilee of the Timboon branch. Wood was cut and split for the Good Samaritan sisters at Colac. Hedge was cut for Brother Don Brody and a clean-up of St Brendan's. 1997, pressure cleaners were used to clean under the verandas of St Brendan's parish house. 1998, Brother Lex Garner organised a hand sower and spares to go to Tanzania, and $200 was donated by the branch as well. Brother Mick McGivney joins palliative care. Branch takes on cleaning contract for the Colac show. Now, I had spoke to Brother Ron Smith about the contract because I had no idea how long this had gone on for, but I was led to believe that the Knights, the brothers, had actually done the show for 19 years. So it was a pretty good effort, a very good fundraiser. It kept us afloat and it kept things happening, which was great. Brother Vin Malone brought home a significant achievement award for the work he did on the new parish hall. Branch organised wheelchair ramp for the new hall. A wheelchair was donated for use at St Brendan's. Brother Mick McGannon and his wife Claire spent some weeks working at a mission in Northern Territory. 2002, members did a concreting job for Brian Jenkins, and that was a paid job, the branch funds. The branch scholarship was chaired by students Tony and Dylan Sproles of St Joseph's Church. Now we started to become extremely active in 2003. There was a real lot happening during this time. We had 40 round bales were sent to drought affected farmers in Shepparton area. A hay was donated by local farmers, with members donating money to cover the cartage cost. Concrete path and wheelchair access ramp was put in at St Brendan's Parish House by branch members. Hand rails were designed and fitted by myself from the Tony. A large amount of tools were collected for Tools for Timor appeal and delivered to Geelong. Service awards were presented to brothers Vin Malone, Alan Matthews, Tony Ricco and Ron Smith of that year. Brother Mick McGivney and Claire worked at a mission in Catherine and Tennant Creek. In 2004, the Knights of the Southern Cross and the Masonic Lodge celebrated the completion of Tools for Timor at the Dallas Brooks Hall. Brother Ron Smith sends 100 toys to East Timor. Members do cleaning at the Colac Rodeo. So the toys for Brother Ron Smith started at about 2004 and they're finished currently now because he is no longer able to do any more. I spoke to him last week and he said, I had no idea how many numbers he actually done, but he's done in excess of 18,000 toys. Now, it is I reckon it's a huge achievement for any one man to get up there and to donate so much stuff to charities, never wanted nothing for it. He would deliver a lot of stuff himself. If he was going to a conference somewhere, he would make sure that he had toys in his ute, boxes of them, and he'd send them out. He said there was another 480 or 500 toys that he just couldn't finish, and he said his goal was to reach 20,000 toys before he give up the ghost, and he's not going to make it. So the family now are helping him to tidy all that up and get rid of the toys, and whatever's left is gone, it's done. But a heck of an achievement in anyone's language. I take my hat off to him. Now, in 2006, Brother Mick McGivney took part in the Celebrity Bash. 128 vehicles took part and raised $1.5 million. And I can still remember the mannequin sitting up on top of the roof. It was like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, right? It was really good. Brothers helped at Santa's workshop and carols in the square. A load of old fence posts was cut and delivered to St Brendan's Convent. I understand they come from Brother Josh de Jong's farm, is that right? And Brother Ron Smith received the State Chairman's Award for services to the Order. Colac branch hosts the state conference. And that was a very big year for us, the state conference. So, 2007, members attend celebration of 150 years of Good Samaritan Order of nuns in Australia. Brother Mick McGivney was presented with service medals on his 70th birthday. 72 sets of rosary beads were presented to first communicants. 2008, a send-off for Sister Margaret Carmody, parish coordinator at St Brendan's. Was well attended. Also, Good Samaritan sisters were leaving Colac after 89 years. The church bell was rung 130 times. Once for each nun who taught there. There were 55 vocations from St Brendan's. Brother Mick McGivney raised and sold a calf for the Salesian Fathers. It made $1,039. Not a bad effort for those years. Rosary beads, 2009, rosary beads donated to the branch were sent to East Timor. Several members donated labour, hay, money and goods after the Pompaduk fires. Brother Vin Malone had been on the finance committee at St Brendan's Parish for 30 years, a long, long time. 2010, Brother Peter Rice took 60 pairs of rosary beads to the missions in the Kimberley area in Western Australia. Brother Ron Smith received a Friend of the Fund Award from the Priest Support and Education Fund. Brother Tony held a Lego and pizza night at home. It was a lot of fun. A lot of horrible pizzas, but a lot of fun. Right, so 2011, Brother Mick McGivney and Brother Mick McGannon celebrate 50 years of service to the Knights. Brother Ron Smith makes new and repairs old equipment at Wyvinya Kindergarten. 2013, Brother Mick McGannon and his wife Claire host 2 Indian trainee nurses at the Colac Hospital. Brother Ron Smith donates branch banner to the branch. KSC helped with Christmas dinner at St Mary's for asylum seekers and anyone on their own. Mass for deceased members was held at St Mary's Church. 2014, graves of Sisters of Mercy nuns were cleaned at Colac Cemetery. 200 rosary beads given to Anne Marie Coventry to take to East Timor. $250 was donated to the Long Road Appeal for Cancer in Colac. That was 2014. We got 2016, the 50-year award was presented to Brother John Miller on obtaining 50 years of order membership. Brother John has held several portfolios, including branch chairman, and currently his first term as district chairman of Western 9. That was in 16. $100 scholarships were donated to Colac Catholic schools. $1,000 was donated to Riding for Disabled. I've just made a quick note here. I'd like to thank Father Michael O'Toole, been a great parish priest, and the guests, the brothers, the guys from all the brothers from Melbourne that have come down to make this 100 years possible. Could not have happened. I didn't think we'd make it. It's been a pretty up and down sort of a show, but for us guys, the one thing that holds steady is that we are brothers and we hold pretty firm to each other, so even through the rough, we make it through. So it doesn't matter what happens. I got a special thanks to Brother Michael McGivney. He chaired during a pretty traumatic period for the Knights, and he really showed us the way to go ahead and go forward, and he done a great job. We would not be here today without him. So thanks Brother Mick, very much. That's all. Thanks, brother.
Brothers, now we got our state secretary would like to say a few words. Brother Andrew Vaccaro, sorry brother.
That's okay.
I mean the blank there, just been an Irishman as usual. Didn't kiss the Blarney Stone this morning to get it right. It's all yours, brother.
Thank you very much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's truly amazing when you think just the scope of what this branch here, the 7th branch of the order formed in Victoria, and what it's achieved in 100 years, that it has had 100 years of continuous service. It's quite rare that nowadays. So everyone involved with Colac branch should be proud of the work that this branch has achieved over the last 100 years in service of the Catholic communities in the area, and not just here, all around the Colac area, and in supporting the other branches as well. You should also be honoured that you also have amongst your ranks the Deputy State Chairman, Brother John Miller there. Yeah, this branch is, it's proud to, I'm honoured to be here today, to be a part of all this, and it's great to see all the work that you're doing, and keep it going and keep looking for new members, so thank you, thank you.
Just one thing, brothers, we were the first branch outside of the Melbourne metropolitan area
Yep,
to be formed as a branch.
yep, that's true.
I think we've done a good job. So, good. Thanks.
I think I've said enough today.
I just want to thank everyone for coming, and especially for Andrew from Melbourne. Huey Miller here, travelled a long way, and the Camperdown ones, and Fr Michael for all his support for 14 years now, I think, and Ron Smith for all he put in and can't be here, and Mick McGannon for all the years that Tony's already mentioned, and for Tony for all the work he's put into getting Ron Smith's notes together and condensing it down that it wouldn't take all afternoon. Thank you all.